Bienvenue à Écrans du monde. Cannes fête ses 60 ans, le cirque médiatique bat son plein. L'âge des ténèbres, surprise et déception pour Denis Arcand. Et Pirates des Caraïbes 3 à l'abordage du box-office mondial. Le Festival de Cannes a 60 ans. Et plus que jamais, une véritable tempête de journalistes de toutes sortes s'est abattue sur la croisette. Ce tourbillon, les acteurs et les cinéastes sont agressivement sollicités de toutes parts. Certains films sont portés au nu et d'autres descendus en flammes. Tout ça sous la loupe des médias et des cinéphiles du monde entier, sans oublier un jury exceptionnel.
Oh, I hesitated. And then I spoke to my ex-wife.
J'ai dit oui tout de suite, mais voilà, parce que j'ai la passion du cinéma, mais je n'aime pas manger. Alors comment je vais faire, je ne sais pas encore.
I was thrilled and I said yes very quickly. It just seemed like an amazing opportunity to see great films with very interesting people and talk about them. Discussing them with these people I think will be an incredible experience. So I don't know. Film isn't a competitive sport and I don't think any of us think that, but it'll be interesting to talk about the merits and discuss them with other people. So.
Oddly, I was sitting in a makeup chair earlier in the year and I said to my makeup artist, how does one get chosen to be on the jury at Cannes? It'd be bloody amazing. And then a couple of months later, out of the blue, it was there. So it came in an email, I said yes, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark.
It's a great pleasure to discover so many films from great authors. And I think of the pleasure of discovering those films much more than of the judgment. I don't know if it's possible to judge art, but anyway, it'll be wonderful to just exchange ideas around the films.
We're here to look at the movies and say this one is better, this one is this one is good, this is not so good. And so we don't need any preparations. We have done whatever we have done in our lives. It's going to movies with a child's enthusiasm and then saying to daddy, this is the best one, this is the one I like. This is in fact, that's why it's so much fun. We are not professors, we are just film goers, and we will say that we like this, we don't like that.
Is that the Memphis Bar and Grill? It is? Great, listen, I wonder if you could help me, please. I'm looking for a young woman called Elizabeth.
Maybe one of them ran off with someone else.
Maybe the feelings just went away.
You still open?
Wanna come inside? I'm not sure whether that night really happened, or if it was just another dream.
I'm very happy with the film, especially I think I have a beautiful cast. And for me, to put the film in competitions is a way to highlight their performance. And it is a film that we're all very proud of, so I think it is a good platform. And also, Cannes is the right place to show the film first time to the public. The story of My Blueberry Nights, it's from the short film that I made. It is a 6-minute short film which is supposed to be part of In the Mood for Love. And then, but I still like the story a lot. And so I want to, instead of a remake, it's almost like an extension. The challenge for this film is because it's in English, which is not my language. And like all through the years, we've seen a lot of films made about Chinese from foreign directors, and sometimes it looks very embarrassing. And because a lot of these Chinese characters has been distorted, and it's too exotic. So I always want to make a film in a different language, but I don't want to avoid these problems. So when I'm working on this film, I always ask Nora, Jude, and all the crew sometimes some questions which they think, well, it's kind of silly, but I have to make sure, because a kiss means difference in Chinese or in Chinese characters, or to a Western characters is quite different.
I was not planning on making any kind of acting debut, and he knocked on my door, and out of the blue, I just thought, okay, well, I'm on tour, and I'm not an actress, so whatever. And then I got off tour, and I finally watched one of his films for the first time. I watched In the Mood for Love, and I thought, wow, that's just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I thought, well, let's have lunch. Maybe he wants some music. And he says, you want to be in a movie? I say, okay, you're amazing. I just, for some reason, had a blind trust. Well, not blind, because I thought his filmmaking was amazing, but I just kind of jumped in and said, well, we'll figure it out later, I guess.
The things that really attracts me is her voice. Because when you look at the film, you should pay some attention to her voice. It's very cinematic in a way. It's like a very fine instrument because it has different characters. And basically, when you are listening to her voice only, without seeing her face, you can have a kind of a story out of it. So this is the way, that's why she has attracts me, and I want to make a film with her.
It was a huge learning experience for me, because even on the films I've worked on where there has been an element of improvisation or personal input, it really felt on this that a lot of the rules that perhaps we get used to applying to filmmaking were thrown out of the window, and suddenly you were, it felt very, very free. You really did go to work some days not knowing what was going to happen, and that doesn't become scary. That suddenly becomes very challenging and very exciting, and you know that whatever happens, it's going to be true, and it's going to be creative, and it's going to be right eventually, you know?
Jeez, you were just dying to ask me something. What? I didn't say anything. You don't have to. I can read you. I can even guess what you want to ask. I'll give you some action.
Leslie, he's gone.
You're lying.
The only thing that is unique about Cannes in terms of the reaction of people is in the screenings when people get up, and this has been mentioned endlessly, you hear the seats clacking, you know people are walking out of your movie. But I think there's a big array. There's so many journalists come here, which is one of the reasons you want to have your film premiere here, is that it gets exposure all over the world. But then you get a vast panoply of reactions to your film from all over. There's not one way to characterize it. It's not that they're tougher here or not. I mean, there's so many films that they could get bored if your film isn't interesting. But that's true at any film festival, I think. But they're not very polite here. But is that French? Maybe it's just French, and it has nothing to do with Cannes per se. You know? It's true that in Germany, at the Berlin Film Festival, they will probably not boo your film, but they will then talk about it negatively, though. If they didn't like it, they're not going to say they liked it. So there is that too. It's a little more... I have never been to Venice, which is Italian. You'd expect them also to express themselves. I don't know. I've never been there.